What is this interesting grill?
I inquired of Monsieur Chad. To my surprise, he was completely taken aback.
Don't you know?
He asked. It did look familiar.
It's the NOMAD Grill that was released in July of 2020.
The Nomad should be familiar to the more seasoned among you. Nomad grills are meant for the most mobile and discerning of us.
Most people use it for grilling several times per year, 3 or more, but never in comfortable surroundings.
Monsieur Chad signaled to me, and I leaned closer.
I'll tell you a secret. It's stylish while being built like a tank. If you're not merely being polite, and you must tell me that is the case, but if it genuinely does interest you, may I invite you to sit with me. Well, it all began as it must, with the Nomad's predecessor, the portable Weber Jumbo Joe.
How are they related?
Their sizes are similar. 240 square inches for the Jumbo Joe, 212 for the Nomad without the second grate.
I see.
Adjustable air vents for airflow into and out of the closed grill.
I see.
The Jumbo Joe weighs 16 pounds while the Nomad weighs 28.
I see.
Nomad and the Jumbo Joe shield the table servers from heat.
I see.
Both are meant for camping, tailgating, picnicking, boating, portable food prep, but not for backpacking or manual carrying for long distances.
Here's a few things from Nomad's website. Nomad's story begins with a simple need for a portable grill that wouldn't rust out or fall apart mid-adventure. Tired of the quasi-disposable, stamped steel, and barely bolted contraptions that flood the market, we set out to build a better grill. One we could take places, one that could keep up, and one we'd be proud to show up with and use. Nomad was developed with a single purpose: to build a grill that matches strength and sturdiness with endless applications and perfect portability. The result is timeless design with modern modifications. 1 part briefcase, 1 part heatsink, and all the premium materials we could get our hands on. A revolt against cut-rate kettles and camp cookers. Nomad is weapons-grade grilling made for the pitmaster on the move. The Nomad has a couple really nice magnetic vent closures. The Nomad's lid cannot stay open by itself, so here you're going to see a black bar that's being used to prop the lid open. That's a piece of thread awl that I bent the ends on and then used some goon tape to cover it up to keep from scratching the material. And here you can see what they look like side by side. The Weber Jumbo Joe's vents twist to open and close. There's one on the top, and then there's another one on the bottom. All right, ding, ding, ding. Let's get ready to go. We've got 2 charcoal chimneys loaded up with 1.8 pounds of B&B char log charcoal. We're starting up both chimneys with 2 tumbleweed fire starters. After that, we're going to throw a couple burgers and then a couple sausages on each grill. This really isn't going to be so much of a head-to-head in terms of taste and appearance and anything like that. We're going to try to get our feelings locked in about what it's like to use this grill. So this is going to be a relatively simple grill. After we got the charcoal started, we dumped out the chimneys into each of the grills, let them run for a little bit, then we closed the lids on them to let everything kind of come up to temp on the inside. Here we can see on the Nomad, it looks like we're somewhere around 230 degrees on the temp probe that's on the side. The Weber doesn't have such a temperature probe on there, so no measurement could come from that. Our sausages are a couple jalapeno and cheddar from the 5G meat company out near Sulphur Springs. These are Wagyu sausages, and then the burgers are just a couple Angus patties with cheddar cheese inside of them. I chose those because these usually kind of make a mess of the grill no matter what. We got our fire set up for indirect cooking. The sausages are off on the side, and the patties are directly over the coals. When it came time to flip everything over, the Weber has the lid holder built in on the side. When we got to the Nomad, you have to open the lid all the way up. And here you can see what was left on the Nomad Grill after cooking the burgers with the cheese. And here you can see what was left on the Weber. I gave a scrub down with a bristle brush and then also the Brillo pad. The Weber came out pretty much normal as it always does. The Nomad, I think that there was more left on the grill grate than I would have liked. Then we took the grills and we closed off the vents and closed the lids up on them, and we wanted to see how well we could extinguish the fire. I moved the grills off to the side, which meant I had to pick the Nomad up by the handle. That makes all the charcoal in there shift down to the bottom. The Weber, it just stays in its normal spot. After about an hour, I checked the temperature on both grills. The Weber was sitting around 86 degrees, and the Nomad was about 160, 170 degrees all around the outside. It was pretty warm. Definitely not something that you would put inside your vehicle when you are ready to end your tailgate. The next day I went out to measure the weight on the remainder of the charcoal. The charcoal in the Weber weighed 0.96 pounds with a starting weight of 1.8 for both. And this is where I was just really surprised. There was no charcoal left in the Nomad.
It is definitely good looking. And it feels good. Looks good, feels good, seems solid. Did this come pre-assembled?
Yes.
So you don't have to put it together, or you do have to put the other grills together.
Yeah.
I think it's real pretty.
It's solid.
I really like the magnetic dampers, how that feels. It moves.
All right, so we haven't used it yet, but we all agree that it looks fantastic. It feels fantastic. My bias or my initial feelings, whatever, is I think it's too Gucci almost. I mean, it's, you know, it is very cool looking and all that, and that's what they tried to give you. They tried to give you a grill that looks fantastic and all that.
It's a show-off piece.
Yeah, but now that means I'm gonna probably spend more time cleaning this stupid thing than I would have if I wasn't thinking of it as a showpiece. I definitely hope that they kick ass in their sales and they do well. I mean, so they're Dallas-based guys. So I you know, I have all the hopes, you know, for them on that side or whatever. So now let's fire these two things up and see what we get going. What do you think?
I think they both grilled good. I mean, I've only used the Weber before, so the other one seems like it works. The handle's awkward to lay it over with your arm going over the fire unless you're to the side of it. That's my only weird conundrum there. But
yeah, they both cooked at the same amount of time. Both of the food was the same doneness on each one. The one comment on the Nomad, the grate is domed, and so cooking the hot dog or the sausage and the hamburgers was okay, but I wonder how cooking a hot dog would be, if it would roll off when you're trying to keep it centered. But other than that, it was fantastic.
All right, so we'll do a hot dog test coming up. The grill grate cleaning after we were done, I think the Weber came cleaner, easier. I mean, there's not as much grill surface area to catch all the stuff, so there's more on the Nomad grill grate, and you know, there's more left on there. Now we've gone and we've closed these things up, and they both got their vents all closed. It's going to take a long time before they've cooled down because those char logs are so big. But right now, if we wanted to move these things off the table, you know, this can be easily moved. I can put the little hinge back up, and I can keep it upright, and I can move it over to a different spot out of the way, no problem. And now I got my table surface for something else. This one, if I pick it up, then all the charcoal that's in there goes everywhere, because the grill is going to be picked up by the handle, which means everything is going to shift. Now the grill grate's going to stay in place because it's magnetic, but all the charcoal is going to be everywhere. Which, if you're not going to be using it again, then it's no big deal. But still, that is a consideration, that, you know, when you go to pick this up, you're immediately shifting charcoal everywhere. So if you were going to go and move it somewhere else and do like a s'mores or whatever, then you'd have to do a little bit of grill cleaning up before you put it into your next little use.